A single mother who owns a small cafe decides to join in celebrating the birthday of a lonely stranger, never knowing who he truly is. But when the truth comes to light, the surprise will change everything. The rain fell in soft, persistent sheets, washing the cobblestone streets of the city in a muted gray. Inside the warmth of the daily grind, a small, family-owned cafe, the scent of roasted coffee and cinnamon rolls filled the air. By a window streaked with rain sat Julian, a man whose 35th birthday was marked not by celebration, but by solitude. 2 years ago, his life was a different story. He was a titan of industry, his days a whirlwind of private jets, exclusive parties, and a glamorous girlfriend, Isabella. They were the city's golden couple, their birthdays a lavish affair celebrated in opulent venues. But all of that had ended on a stretch of winding mountain road. The accident had been a brutal, life-altering punctuation mark. The car he had bought for himself had careened off the road, a tangle of steel and shattered glass. He had survived, but his lower body had not. The doctors had been gentle but firm. He would never walk again. The physical pain had been immense, but it was the emotional agony that truly broke him. Isabella's initial presence, a mask of concern, had eventually slipped. The day she left, her words were a cruel finality. "I can't do this, Julian. I'm sorry. This isn't the life I signed up for." She had left the man he used to be, the one who could stand and command a room. Now, in the quiet cafe, the hollowness of that loss was more acute than ever. The sleek modern wheelchair was a constant metallic reminder of everything he had lost. He had moved out of his sprawling penthouse and into a more accessible, modest apartment. He had handed over the daily operations of his empire to a trusted team and had retreated from the world into a self-imposed exile. A young waitress with tired but kind eyes brought him a cup of black coffee and a slice of chocolate cake. He had no appetite, but he had ordered it out of a stubborn, solitary tradition. A single, unlit candle stood in the rich frosting, a pathetic monument to a day he wished would simply disappear. The phone in his pocket had been silent all day, filled only with perfunctory text messages from business associates and distant family. No one had dared to call. No one had the courage to face the broken version of Julian they now knew. "Mommy, why is that man all alone?" A small piping voice broke through his reverie. Julian flinched, turning his head slowly. Standing beside his table was a girl, no older than 5, with a mop of unruly brown hair and eyes wide with genuine curiosity. Beside her was the cafe owner, a woman with warm brown eyes and a face lined with a faint, weary strength. "Lily, don't stare," she said softly, her hand resting on his shoulder. "It's not polite." But the girl was undeterred. She pointed a small finger at the solitary cake. "Is it his birthday?" she asked her mother. The woman, Sarah, followed his gaze. A flicker of sympathy passed through her eyes, and she gave Julian a small, apologetic smile. "Yes, I think it is, sweetie." A wave of embarrassment washed over Julian. He was a billionaire, a man who once commanded the world, and now he was being pitied by a child. He wished he could simply disappear. "Happy birthday," Lily chirped, her smile wide and infectious. Sarah gently nudged her. "Come on, let's leave the man in peace." "But Mommy, he's sad. Can we sing to him?" Julian's heart gave a strange little lurch. He watched as Sarah looked from her daughter's earnest face to Julian's guarded one. A quiet kindness won out over her initial hesitation. She smiled at Julian, a genuine, hesitant smile. "I'm so sorry. My daughter, she's very direct. My name is Sarah, and this is Lily. I own this place." "Julian," he managed to say, his voice a little hoarse from disuse. "Julian," she repeated, the name sounding foreign and soft on her tongue. "Look, I know this is strange, but would you mind if we joined you for a moment?" Lily is very insistent. He stared at them, the single mother and her daughter, 2 genuine souls in the rain-swept warmth of a small cafe. There was no pity in their eyes, no pretense, just a simple, open kindness. For 2 years, he had been a ghost in his own life, a man people talked about in hushed tones. And here were two people, a woman who probably worked 18-hour days, and a child who saw the world in primary colors, offering him something he had long forgotten: human connection. A single tear, hot and unexpected, tracked a path down his cheek. He quickly wiped it away. I would like that very much, he said, his voice cracking slightly. Sarah's smile widened, and she pulled out a small chair for her daughter, then took the one across from Julian, pulling it closer. I'm sorry. I should have offered this to you earlier, she said, gesturing to the cake. On the house, of course. A birthday should never be celebrated with a slice of sad cake. She laughed softly, a bright, melodic sound that filled the silent space between them. Julian felt a genuine smile stretch his lips for the first time in a very long time. Do you have a candle? Lily asked, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. We have plenty, Sarah said, winking at her. She got up and returned with a small box of matches. The cafe is a bit empty tonight because of the rain, she explained, so we have time. She lit the candle, and the tiny flame danced, casting a warm glow on their faces. Then, in the quiet cafe, the mother and daughter began to sing. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Julian, happy birthday to you. Lily's voice was off-key and enthusiastic, and Sarah's was clear and melodious. Julian sat there, a silent, captivated audience, the lump in his throat making it impossible to speak. They finished the song, and Lily clapped her hands in delight. Make a wish, she commanded. Julian closed his eyes. What could he wish for? The ability to walk? The return of his old life? Number. His mind went blank, then settled on a simple, profound wish. He wished this moment would never end. He blew out the candle, and a tiny puff of smoke curled into the air. For the next hour, they talked. Julian learned that Sarah, a single mother, had lost her husband a few years ago and had poured her savings into opening the cafe. It was her dream, and despite the challenges, Lily was her whole world. Julian, in turn, found himself opening up about his life, though he carefully omitted any mention of his vast wealth. He spoke of his passion for art and architecture, the things he had loved before his life became a series of board meetings. He told them about the joy of seeing a building come to life, from a simple sketch to a towering structure. He laughed at Lily's silly jokes and listened, truly listened, to Sarah's stories about the challenges of running a business and the simple pleasure of watching her daughter learn something new. They were just people, two genuine souls who saw him not as a broken tycoon, but as just another man who needed a little kindness. As the cafe began to close, Sarah stood up. Well, it's getting late for this little guy, she said, ruffling Lily's hair. But thank you, Julian. This was a lovely birthday celebration. Thank you, Julian said, the words feeling utterly inadequate. No one has done that for me before. Everyone deserves to have a birthday, Sarah said simply. Lily, who had been a whirlwind of energy all night, came to Julian's side and gave him a clumsy, sweet hug. I hope your wish comes true, Julian, she whispered. Julian watched them as they put on their coats, a mother and daughter, two small beacons of light in the deepening twilight. As they were about to leave, he finally gathered his courage. Sarah, he called out. She turned. Would you let me take you and Lily out to dinner sometime? Not here, somewhere else. She smiled, a slow, hesitant, beautiful smile. I'd like that very much, Julian. I'd like that very much. He watched them disappear into the rain, a feeling of warmth spreading through his chest, chasing away the cold and the loneliness. He still sat in his wheelchair, but for the first time since the accident, he didn't feel broken. He felt whole. He knew that their next meeting would be the beginning of something new, a journey of two broken souls finding solace and healing in each other's company, all while one of them remained completely unaware that the man who had just celebrated his birthday with her was a billionaire. For now, that was a secret he was happy to keep.